Please confirm, is my screen visible?
Sure, let's
Yes,
visible
ma'am.
now. Yes, visible.
Okay, thank you. All right, so this is just a brief summary of all the concepts that you have learned in week 1, which are just the foundation of this course. So first, what is a variable, right? So in CT, we know that throughout the entire course, we will be learning about different ways to write pseudocodes. So at the end of completion of computational thinking, you should be pretty fluent in writing pseudocode. Pseudocode is what? Anyone wants to take a shot? What is pseudocode? What is the difference between actual code and pseudocode? Anyone?
In actual code, we like in normal things we keep the repeating things written, but in pseudocodes we remove the repeating things from that, and like if it is a procedure is following, keep every time, then we will add a condition or a while loop or a if loop so that it will be keep checking it.
So
Of
basically,
sample code or demo code.
sorry, come again.
Kind of sample code or demo code for every language.
Right. So the basic difference between pseudocode or any programming language, right? Let's say C, C++, Python, anything. So whatever code you write in that language, you can write a pseudocode for that exact program. So pseudocode doesn't take any particular syntax from any language, right? It is mostly an English resembling notation. So it is basically a simplified programming language. It describes how to design a program. Okay, there is no specific syntax in a pseudocode. Like these things that you see in plenty of questions, you will see it will come that while there are more cards in pile one, we pick a card. So these are all what simple English language, right? That you can read and understand. But in a particular programming language, we'll have that particular syntax for that language. That's the basic difference. So in CT, we won't be focusing on any language itself. We'll just learn how to write pseudocode. Okay. So the first thing that you need to know while writing pseudocode is what is a variable. So what is a variable? It is nothing but a symbol, right? A variable is just a symbol which is used to represent varying expression or quantity. So a variable can be anything. It can be alphabet, it can be an alphanumeric string, whatever. You can take anything as a variable. Okay. Now variables have data types. Anyone knows what is an example of a data type? Anyone? Okay. So let's say I have a variable x. This is a variable in a program, right? So this x can belong from any data type. X can be character type, like it can store character type data, or it can store integer type data or string type data, right? So whatever data that variable is storing is the data type of that variable. Okay, so a variable is essentially just a symbol which represents a varying expression or quantity. That's why it's called variable. So you can also say that it is a symbol representing for unspecified or unknown term, some quantity, some expression you can represent using a variable. So for example, counting number of cards present in the scores dataset. Everyone familiar with the data sets, common data sets that we have?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. So scores dataset, anyone can tell me what are the data present in the dataset? Like for any card, what is the data? So scores dataset is based on students, right? If I pick any student's card, what data do I have in that card?
Name,
Student name, date of birth,
gender,
city,
date of birth, town, city,
gender,
Right.
and marks,
And
total
marks.
marks,
mathematics,
sequence
maths.
number.
Correct. Very good. So we have in our data set, scores data set, we have around 30 cards, right? So in this data set, we will have the usage of this data set in plenty of questions. Okay, you can check out the PYQs also. So in this example, it is saying that counting number of cards present in the scores data set. So let's say you do not know, let's say you know that there is some X number of cards present in my scores data set. My job is to count the number of cards. So for that, we have to write some logic, right? So for that, we've created a variable called count. This count variable is going to store the total count of cards in my scores dataset. Right. So initially counts value has to be what? 0, because I don't know how many cards are there. I'm starting counting and I'm starting from 0. So count is initialized to 0. Initialization means assigning a value to a variable, right? So count is assigned the value 0. Single equal to is assignment operator. Okay. Anyone knows what is double equal to? What does this mean?
Equality. It shows equality.
Equality.
Right. So this is equality. This means exactly equal to, right? If I want to compare two values, whether they're equal or not, then I use this double equal to. But if I want to assign some value to a variable, I'll use a single equal. So initially count is assigned this value 0. Then we add 1 to count as we move a card from pile 1 to pile 2. So this notation is going to come in multiple questions. You'll see pile 1 is nothing but the total stack of cards in scores dataset. Okay. Whatever many cards we have, that is stacked in pile 1 first. Now every time we pick a card from pile 1, let's say initially I have this X number of cards in pile 1. Okay. And pile 2 is empty. So first card I pick. Now if I pick one card from here, right? Then how many cards are remaining in pile 1? X minus 1. And after I read that card, I transfer it to pile 2. So pile 2 now has one card. Like this, you pick the next card. So now pile 1 has X minus 2, pile 2 has 2 cards. Like this, you will go on till when there are no more cards left in pile 1. This pile 1 becomes 0 and pile 2 becomes X. So you have collected all the cards. You have counted all of them. So every time that we pick a card from pile 1, we are going to increment count by 1. Okay, so count was initially 0. First card you pick, count becomes 0 plus 1, 1. Next card you pick, count becomes 2, then 3, like this. So this is basic counting just, right? So now this is a very interesting concept of iteration. What is iteration? It is repetition of a process, right? In the most simplest term, iteration means repetition of something. So where do we use iteration? Any idea?
We iterate over a single value again and again.
Okay,
Like we iterate over cards.
Okay, right. So every time we are picking a card from the pile 1, right? That is one iteration. So we are doing the same thing again and again. Now let's take a more mathematical example. If I say find the factorial of a number. Okay, let's say find the factorial of 5. What is 5 factorial? So for that, if you are asked to write a pseudocode, which part of the problem is repeating? First of all, tell me what is 5 factorial?
120.
5 into 4 into 3.
5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1.
3 into 1.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens in the factorial program? What do we have? That if I want to find 5 factorial, so I have to do n into n minus 1 every time. Till what is the base condition? When will the iteration stop? When I reach
When
0.
we reach 1.
Right. So 0 factorial is 1. So at that point, I will stop. Right. But this process is happening time and again. First, I am doing this 5 into 4. Then again, this is 4 factorial. Then you break down this 4 factorial into what? 4 into 3 factorial. Then this into 3 into 2 factorial. So these are what? Repeating steps, right? All of these are called iterations. Now, this particular program that I picked, this factorial thing, you can do it in two different ways. Iterative way you can do, or you can do recursive way. We will learn the difference between iteration and recursion. But for now, iteration is nothing but repetition of a process. More simple example if you want. Let's say I have a pile of cards. So this pile 1 that I had. So every time you pick a card, this pick a card means one iteration is beginning. Okay, every time I pick a card and I read that and I move it to pile 2 and I increment count. These are all the steps happening in a single iteration. Next iteration starts when you pick the second card and again do the same thing. Move it to pile 2, increment count, then pick the third card. This is iteration clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So next is filtering. This is a very basic thing. What is filtering? What do we know just by the word filtering in English? Filtering means
Extracting something.
Separating out
something
extra element.
From a
Right.
lot of things.
Right. So I might have a
Organization.
huge data set and I put some filters on it. Like if you go to an e-commerce website, right? Let's say you are looking for a t-shirt. So you have plenty of filters to put on that search. You can search for, let's say, 500 to 1000
Size.
rupee range
Size.
or size.
Filter.
These are what? Filters. Same filters are applied here. Like in this data set that I have, this course data set, right? Here I have, let's say, data for 30 students. Now I want to find just male students data. So this gender that I specified is what? A filter. So whenever we want some specific information, we use filtering concept. That is, we impose a condition, right? So in an iteration, we are only interested in specific item or data, which are special to us and not all items. So whatever problems we are going to face, like from now on, this practice, graded assignment, quiz, everywhere you'll see this use of filtering concept, because no one wants generic data, right? We want some data that is meaningful to us. And to find that, we need to apply filters accordingly. So for example, take this one. If we want to only count students from Chennai, so in this case, we will have to move all the cards from pile 1 to pile 2. But we will add to variable count when a card is from Chennai city, right? So in your iteration, that program only, that same program where we were counting the number of cards. Now you just have to place one extra statement, which is where, what is the statement? So the statement will be that the city of that card, let's say I pick the card X. So X dot city is equal to Chennai.
Chennai.
So only for this condition, whatever cards satisfy this condition, so we will put this, let's say, inside of an if block, right? So whenever this condition is satisfied, then we will increment count. So count plus plus here. This is an example of filtering. Now we can have multiple filters also on a same search, like in that e-commerce example I took. So you can put two filters, one for size, one for price together, right? Same thing you can do here. Like, for example, if I want to find the number of female students from Chennai. So now I will just add one more condition to this this if block. So I write x dot city is Chennai and x dot gender is female. Right. So this is example of multiple filtering. Just you can apply any number of filters if you want. But here, one thing to notice is that, see, in this example, it is given that we want to find number of female students from Chennai. So to satisfy these, like these two filters, I used an AND operator here, right? Why did I use an AND and not Y and OR?
Because we want
Because
to apply both
we
filters.
want both of them.
We want both of them. If I said that I want number of
Either of them.
female students, right? I want a number of female students or students from Chennai. Then I will use an OR operator. Okay, now tell me one thing. If I used an OR operator here, okay, in this example, if I used an OR, then which cards will satisfy this condition? First of all, I'm telling you the propositions. You tell me whether they're correct or not. Under this condition, if I pick a card where the city is Chennai, but the gender is male, for that will I increment count?
Yes,
you
ma'am.
will.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So some people are saying no. So
No, either of
only-
the condition, we will increment the count. If we have
right,
Chennai
either of the
city,
condition. So if I
Either
have,
or
let's
both
say
also
gender
true.
female, if I say gender female, but city is Kolkata, then also it will increment.
still, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we will increment.
Right. If I have
Yes, ma'am.
Chennai and female, then also it will
Then
increment. But
also it will
Yes,
increment.
ma'am.
only one case.
And also,
Only one case remains, that it is not from Chennai and not female. In that case, it is not satisfied, right? Because OR has a truth table like this. Okay, X, Y, and X or Y. So what happens when I take two variables X and Y and I place an OR condition between them? So first tell me, if I have two variables, how many combinations are possible?
Four.
Four.
combinations.
Four
Combinations. So let's take them as 0, 1 combinations, right? So 0, 0 is for when both are false. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So just only for this one condition, OR will give a false result. For all of these other three, it will give
Will give a true result.
right. So OR gives negative only when OR is not satisfied, when both conditions are wrong, or as many number of conditions as you are joining with OR. You can join more than two conditions together, right? You can have, let's say, city, Chennai, or gender female, or marks greater than something. So if all three fail, only then, even if one of the conditions passes, means you can increment count. Okay, this is for OR. And for AND, what is the rule? That both have to be true in order for the condition to be satisfied. Even if one of them is false, the whole thing is false. So just the opposite of OR, right? So what is the truth table for AND? Let's quickly write that once.
1 only it will
Uh,
be 1.
If
False
1 1,
except the
then it will be
condition where
true.
both are satisfied.
Right. So for this one, it is 0. This
0.
also it is 0. This also
0,
it is 0.
0, 1.
Only this case is 1. Okay. So in OR, we have 3 positive cases. In AND, we have only 1 positive case. Just be a little mindful about these two. Okay. Now, let's see. Next is flowcharts. Yeah, this is one very important thing. I would say you check out some of the previous year flowchart questions. If you want, I can take one up. Okay. So flowchart, basically things you need to remember is flowchart is nothing but a pictorial representation of an algorithm, right? The simple pseudocode that you are writing, just the flow of the program, what is happening after what, um, where the program starts, where the iterations start, where it ends, what are the processes, what are the operations being performed on them. All of these things just you are representing instead of text in the form of a diagram, which is easier to look at and understand, right? So whenever we start learning programming, flowchart is one of the first things that we learn along with pseudocode. So pictorial representation of an algorithm, it is a step-by-step process. So first things you need to learn what are the components of a flowchart, right? First component is a rectangular box. So whenever we see a rectangular box, it denotes what? A process or an activity, right? Any process. So if I say that I want to increment count, so count equals to count plus 1 or count plus plus, these two are same things, right? So this incrementing count is a process, right? So
Yes,
that
sir.
statement will come under this particular rectangular box. So here I will write count plus plus. Now, what is an arrow? It just shows the order of execution of the program. That is after what step is happening. Okay. So the flow line is denoted by your arrow. What is a diamond box? It is the decision box. Okay. This is your decision box. Decision box is what? Like that if condition I put, right? That if a student is from Chennai, then I will increment count. So let's say if I want to put that decision here, so I will write if city is equal to Chennai, this condition will come here. Okay. Now there can be two answers to this. One can be yes, and I move on to the process box where I increment count. And one can be no. If it is no, then what I do, I'd go on to the next card. Like I'll pick the next card. The whole thing is not given here, the whole flowchart, or I'll show you. But yeah, if you have a decision box, there can be two outcomes, either yes or no. Okay. Next is your oval shaped box. These are terminal boxes, just a basic rectangle, just the ends are rounded out. Okay, so there are two terminal boxes in any pseudocode or like any pseudocode's flowchart representation. There are two oval boxes. One is for your start of the program, one is for your end of the program. Okay, so these two things mandatorily you have to write if you're ever drawing a flowchart. Don't miss out the start and end boxes. So these are the basic ones. Okay, now let's come to data type.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
is there any parallelogram box also there?
No, see, in this course, whatever flowcharts you come across, they will just have these basic components. No other. Okay, but a flowchart can have a lot of components. So there are much complex flowcharts that we are not going to discuss here. If you want to know what are the basic components, these are enough. Okay.
So, ma'am, the complex one will be taught in later in this course?
No. It will not be required. We are just doing pseudocode. So these are basic programs. We won't need very big flowcharts or anything. So whatever flowcharts we need to work with, these 4 things will be enough. All the flowcharts will use these components only.
Ma'am, beside the decision box, is there more option for condition checking the condition?
Decision box is only where you ask the question, like whenever there comes an if condition or
in second week there is in flowchart one rectangle box is also given there for checking the decision.
so it might be some process box actually. If you have the question, show me once, I'll tell you. Okay.
Ma'am, will the diamond box always have a Boolean type expression?
Yeah, in your decision box will always have two
Yes, ma'am.
different definite answers, yes or no.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, decision box condition checking and or.
Yes. No, just not and or. Okay, condition can be anything. That was just one example I took. It can be someone's age. Like if I want the name of all students if I want to count the number
Any
of cards.
condition, in any
Yeah,
Can
condition,
also
any
be
condition.
comparison, right?
either both of them
Comparison
or
between
one
two.
of them.
Anything. Any type of comparison, any type of filtering you're using, any question you are asking. That whether some student's age is less than 18, then I want to count their card. So that is
And
also a condition. Any
and
filter.
throughout the course
But
in
it needs to have a Boolean type expression, right? Only two answers.
Yeah, only two answers. Either yes or no.
and ma'am, throughout this course we have to only make the program and this flowchart and pseudocode only.
See, in CT, flowcharts are present only in the initial 1 or 2 weeks. Okay. Mainly we will focus on pseudocode only. A
Pseudocode.
flowchart is just one representation to show you. So
And
flowcharts actually,
ma'am, no any physical programming is there.
and you won't have to code anything. Okay.
Okay.
All the code will be given to you in the question. You just have to decode and understand what the code is doing.
Means only for making logical understanding.
Yes. So CT course is basically a prerequisite for your upcoming courses like Python, Java, these things.
Okay.
So CT is
Hello,
just
ma'am.
to build a logic.
Can we give range in the diamond box? Means if I have to filter the ranges,
See,
can
there
we get
are there can be one example that we had a few terms back. Like, let's say I want to find the number of cards of students who have scored between 200 and 250,
yeah.
right? So this is a range of values. So that also you have to place here. Here you will check whether
Okay.
a card that you pick, whether it falls within that range. If yes, then you go continue with the yes flow line. If not, then you pick up the next card. Any condition, any filtering can come in the decision box.
Okay, ma'am.
So one thing is that so for weeks 1, 2, even for quiz 1, I would say flowchart is a good important concept. Okay. But throughout the course, as we increase the level, right, as we go on to more complex problems, flowchart representation is not optimal because flowcharts can become very complex within a very short span. Okay. Like a program, if a pseudocode is 10 line long, a flowchart can be a lot complex for that same pseudocode because we have very few components in a flowchart. So flowcharts are not optimal for representing bigger problems. For that, we use pseudocode only. So this is just one representation of a program that you need to know. Questions can come from here definitely. PYQs you can check out from quiz 1. Plenty of flowchart questions are there.
Ma'am, can I ask question?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, the arrow can be used after the decision diamond one that
Arrow will come from, there will be an arrowhead associated with every box. Okay.
in
Like
decision
flowchart,
we can use.
you have to use. See, flowchart looks like this. This is a terminal. Okay.
Yeah.
So first I will start with this. This is start box. Then from here, the flow goes to some process box. Let's say I'm initializing some variable, assigning x0, like this.
Okay.
Then after that, you want to make some decision box, some condition you put here. If yes, then again some process you are doing. If no, then again you go back and pick another card or something of that sort. That depends on the program. So every box will be associated with arrows. That is your flow of the program. No box will be disconnected.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Ma'am,
Now,
can I ask you something in Bengali?
yeah, sure.
ম্যাম যখন আমরা ওই লাস্টে একদম ডিসিশন বক্সে যাচ্ছি, হ্যাঁ, ডিসিশন বক্সের পরে নিচে টার্মিনালে এসে যদি আমি দেখি কন্ডিশনটা ফলস, তাহলে আমি আবার
No,
ব্যাক
terminal
করে
box. See, terminal box will never have a true or false option. Okay. Terminal is either start of the program or end of the program. So you will go back when, like say, if in an example you have that I am picking up a card here. Okay, this is start box. In this process box, I write that while pile 1 has more cards, I will pick up a card. Given that pile 1 is not empty, pick up one card from pile 1. So after this, I'm checking some condition that, let's say, if that card is from a student who's from Chennai or not. If yes, then you go on and increment count in this process box, go to the flow. Okay. If it is not, then what you will do, the no will go back to this. This is an iteration. That means this iteration stopped
Mhm.
here, it ended here because the
Or,
condition is
or,
not
or,
satisfied.
or if the condition is false, then we can end the process immediately.
Yeah, for some programs that will also be the case. That totally depends on what your problem statement is. The one I am talking about, my problem statement is that I want to find all the people who are from city Chennai. I want to just count those cards. So for all the people who are not from Chennai, the condition will be false and I have to go to pick up the next card instead of going the other direction, right? But if yes, then I will come to this box, this process box. I will again increment count and then I can, like, once that's done, then I can again go back and pick up the next card. And once it is empty, right? That means uh,
If, if
this
if
pile one
there
is
is
empty.
if there is infinite number of cards, then the process will be continue.
Then it will continue, yes. But whenever the pile one becomes empty, then you will go to the terminal end. Okay. So there will be one more terminal end. This is an oval shaped box.
Ma'am, in computational thinking, infinite loop is not there, I think.
No, see, none of those super complex things will be there. Infinite loop or these
Only
things.
conceptual and logical
Yeah.
things is there.
See, main topics I will tell you what topics is going to be very important in terms of CT. First 4 weeks, I would say data types are very important. Sanity of data is an important topic. Okay.
And means,
Then,
ma'am, this sanity of data and the all type of data types given there, that
hmm,
is not, that is only simple data type, not from any particular language, ma'am, I
no,
think.
no, no. Because we are not dealing with any particular language in this course. We are
Because
just giving
there's
you what are the general
sequence
data
number,
types.
date and time also they define by.
Right, right. Yes. But date is also a data type. Okay. In programming languages also, there is a date
Yeah,
data type. Like in SQL also you have that.
but here they are solving date by defining
Hmm,
it a
hmm, hmm.
numerical value and
See, in CT, you cannot expect anything from a particular programming language. Okay. CT is just a general idea of how a program is written. Now, after you learn how loops work, how matrices work, graphs work, these things, all of this you learn in CT. Then you go to learn a specific programming course like Python or Java or C. Then
but
these concepts you can
data
apply
science.
just with the help of syntax. See, anyone can write code in any language, okay, if your logic is clear. Wherever you go for, like, even just speaking in general, wherever you go for a company interview, okay, they will give you lots of choices between programming language, whichever one you are familiar with, you choose that and write the code. But to write the code, you need to know the logic. Na? Once you know the logic, you can implement it in any way. So in CT,
Yeah,
some of the important concepts is list. List is a very important concept. Dictionary, matrices, graphs. Okay, these things will come in the more advanced weeks. But for weeks 1 to 4, I would say in week 1, since we just started week 1 only now, go for data types and sanity of data. You will see that there are some code examples from how to find the maximum of a data, how to find minimum, how to find average, summation, these things. These are the basic things in week 1 to 4. We'll have covered very basic things. These are important topics. Okay. Like
yeah,
from this week,
maximum and their logic operation and it.
right. So let's start with basic data types. These are very important for this week. Okay. What are some of the basic data types? We all know integer, character, boolean, string. These are all data types. What is a data type? Data type defines the values that that variable can hold. Okay. If I say in, let's say in C programming language, if I initialize some variable like A, int A means this variable A can only hold integer type values. Then again, this int is what? It is called the data type of this variable A. So A cannot hold a string type of value. A cannot hold someone's name. A can hold only integers. But again, every data type has some range. Okay. Like the integer data type, it can have any positive or negative integers. Okay. So whenever we give the int data type to a variable, it can hold any positive or negative integer value. When we give a character data type, like here, the example is given integer data type. What is the range? Minus infinity to plus infinity. That is the range of values it can take. What are the operations we can perform on it? Since integer type values, so all kinds of arithmetic operations like plus, minus, into, divide, any kind of comparison operators. So whenever you, let's say you have two integer data types, okay, two integer variables, let's say A and B, and I perform any arithmetic operation like these four operations on it. what will be my result like?
Integer only.
I will get an integer result. But if
Yeah.
I do a comparison, like say if I have A and B and I want to see if A and B contain the same value, so I'm checking is A equal to B. So what is the result of this statement? It is a yes or no type result, right? Either it is equal or it is not equal. So whenever we have an like yes or no or true or false, this type of value, it is called a Boolean value, right? It only has two possibilities, either yes or no, either true or false. So whenever we use comparison operators like greater than, less than, exactly equal to, these will always give you Boolean type of result. Now, the second important data type is this character data type. So the range of character is all alphanumeric characters. So you can have capital A to Z, small a to Z, 0 through 9. Even special characters are allowed, like this dollar, hash, at the rate, all these symbols, right? But on character data type, can I use any arithmetic operations? Can you add two characters? No.
No.
So I can check that whether two characters are equal. That I can check. So I can use this. Even greater than, less than doesn't make any sense when it comes to alphanumeric characters, right? So I can use this to compare whether two characters are same, like this capital C and 1. If I write is capital C equal to 1, the result will be false, which is a Boolean type of result, right? So on character
Yeah.
data type, you can only perform these operations, not arithmetic. Next, we have Boolean data type itself. Boolean is a data type which has only two values in its range. One is true, one is false. Like if a light bulb has only two stages, either on or off, right?
Yeah.
So AND operation and OR operation. This type of operations can be performed on Boolean data types. Like what? If gender is equal to male, this is one condition, and city town is equal to Chennai. So both of these are two different parts of two different filters, right? That I'm imposing. This filter will also give some Boolean value. This filter will also give some Boolean value, either true or false. If both are true, then the AND of this will be true. If any one of them is true, then if I do OR, then that will be true. If both are false, then AND or both will give false result. Right. So on Boolean type of data types, on Boolean type of variables, you can say, we can only perform this type of operations, and or who will give Boolean type of result. There is no arithmetic operation that we can do here. Okay. Next is string data type. Yeah, this is also very important. So string can be any sequence of characters, right? String can be any alphanumeric string. It can contain special characters. Your name itself is a string, right? So on a string type of variable, what all operations can you perform? Again, only this Boolean, that is comparison operator. This is all you can perform. So IIT Madras is a string. This is a string. This is a string. All of these are strings. So you can do two strings. You can take two strings and match whether they're equal or not. So there you can use this double equal to operator, right?
Ma'am,
These are your,
basically collection, na?
yeah, whenever you take more than one character, it becomes a string.
Okay.
It can be alphanumeric. It can have special characters. Yeah.
Ma'am, what is the actual meaning of string?
String means anything, you can say anything that is greater than one character. If I take a single character, then that becomes a character type, right? Even a string can have a single character. That is also fine. A string can have a single character, but if you define a variable as a character type variable, then that variable cannot hold a string. That is more than one character, it won't be able to hold. Okay. But a string can have any number of characters, and a string can have alphanumeric characters, it can have numbers, it can have alphabet, special symbols, blank spaces. Okay, all of these. Whatever is enclosed within inverted commas or quotations. So the string notation is always you have to use the double quotation. Okay. So
Ma'am,
if I, yeah.
ma'am, when we are comparing two strings, are we comparing the length or are we comparing the
The entire
letters?
string, everything. See, let's say I have one string type variable A in which I'm storing my name. Okay. I'm storing Manideepa. Now, let's say I have one more variable which is of string type and it is B, and in that, let's say I'm storing some random name Rohit. So if I want to compare these two strings, okay,
Ma'am,
let's
this
say I
ma'am,
will then write A equal to B. Is A equal to B? This is the question. So it can
No.
have two answers,
no.
either yes or no. So in this case, the answer is no.
No, no,
So this
no.
is a Boolean type of result, right?
Means it's false.
False.
Yeah.
And ma'am, if you write your name but you make the first letter in lowercase, will it be true or will it be false?
You can have any case, uppercase, lowercase, whatever you want. A string can have anything.
Yes, ma'am, but I'm saying if we'll compare those two.
Yeah, then it will be false only. See, capital R matches with capital R. Small r will match with small r only.
Okay,
ma'am,
ma'am.
Okay.
here Miss case
Uh,
sensitive is there or not?
Sorry, I can't hear.
Case sensitive.
Yeah, see, strings you have to exactly match. Okay, string matching has to be exact. It is case sensitive. Although
Yes,
string
ma'am.
matching is a like if you want to implement that in a program that is not for a beginner level program. So I won't say it now, but yeah, further on when we are going through some of the advanced weeks, I'll show you string matching operation. Anyway, so there are actually functions in certain languages to calculate the length of a string, like the length
Ma'am, I
function
have
in
a question
Python.
regarding strings.
Ma'am,
So
Yes, one by
Ma'am,
one.
is there is a range of string and a length of string and lower to uppercase, upper to lower? This operation is given in this course only.
No, here we won't deal with singular data types like that. Okay, here we are dealing with bigger problems actually. These are just the basic data types that you can have.
Means
Okay,
that three
in
data
our
types will be run in whole course. That word and
yeah,
score.
mostly these are the main ones that will be there in the throughout the course. See, in the course, what happens? We have these data sets given to you, right? Sports, library, Olympic, all of these data sets. So these data sets, whatever data they contain, we will only deal with that data, nothing other than that. All the questions will be based on those data sets only.
ma'am, I have a question regarding
ma'am,
strings.
ma'am, I have a question too.
Okay. Can you ask the first person who asked, who is the boy?
Yes,
who asked?
ma'am.
Yeah.
So in this computational thinking, pseudocodes and everything, we do not have concatenation, right? That we have normally in string data type.
Look, none of these. Okay, I will tell you. Do not
Like
think of
this,
this as a basic programming course, right? So whenever we are learning Python or C, there we learn these things, how to concatenate strings, how to match two strings. These are specific programs in that language. So you need to know the syntax and all for that. In CT, we will be dealing with more real life type of problems. Like this type of problems will be given to you. Let's say, for example, in this course data set, you can have a code that is given to you that is, let's say, trying to find the average total marks of all students in mathematics. Okay, this is just an example. Now, the whole pseudocode is given to you. Maybe some lines are wrong. So you have to find out where the error is in that program. This is the type of question you will have. Okay,
so
we
in these
won't
types
do
of
any
questions, we always have MSQs or MCQs, right? Because we not
MSQ,
have to write
MCQ,
anything, right?
right? No, but you will have some NAT questions. Like in previous year, we had this question. I don't know if you can find it. Right now. Okay, so we had this question where we gave you a paragraph. Okay, we can do this, that we'll give you a paragraph that is your data. Okay, now on that paragraph, we will run some code that maybe count the number of letters that start with the, maybe count the number of words that start with the letter M. Okay, so you have to write the code for that and then run that code on that particular data paragraph that is given to you. And you can find how many such words are there and you can write that as your NAT answer. Okay, but that is the most you will have to do. You don't have to write any specific code. There can be questions where there are missing segments of code, but that also you will be given options that these are the missing segments, whichever is the right one, you pick up and put it there.
Like
Right, so
code
you just have to
snippets,
pick code
right?
snippets, but they're given to you. You don't have to write.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, someone else was asking.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. I have a query that what is the difference between a single equals to and double equals to?
See, single equals to is an assignment operator, right? If I have a variable, say integer type of a variable a, and I want to assign it the value, let's say 3. So I will write a equals 3. This means a is assigned the value 3. If I write a equals to 3, this is checking whether A and 3 are exactly equal or not. This is a comparison operator. This is an assignment operator.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So basic data types, so we covered. Next is subtype of basic data type. Okay, now this is a very niche thing, I would say. See, don't compare these things with any actual programming language. Okay, whenever you go, if you learn Python next, you will learn there are plenty of other data types also there present, but these are the basic ones. Now, what is subtype of a data type? It means restrict the basic data types in terms of their ranges and constrained on their operations. So let's just take an example, like sequence number. Okay, so sequence number is what? In this course data set, every card has some sequence number 0, 1, 2, you've seen. So
Yeah.
these sequence numbers are what? Integer type data, right? The bigger data type is what? Integer. Okay. But in our data set, what is the sub data type, I can say? So sequence number itself becomes a data type. Okay. So where the range can be from 0, 1, 2 to some max value. Let's say if I have 100 cards, then max is 100. So I can't have more than that. More than that, sequence number is not possible. Like, okay, for one more example, let's say if I have marks, marks is one of the fields in your course data set. So if I say mathematics marks, what is the range? So it is in essentially it is an integer value, 1, 0 to 100. All of these are integer values. But our subtype has a range which is 0 to 100. You cannot have marks more than 100. You cannot have marks less than 0. It can only be in between, right? So these are subtypes. Now, in the sequence number data subtype, if I say, what is the operation that we can perform? None of the integer operations here will make any sense. Do you ever need to add the sequence number of two students? Will it give any meaningful data?
No, there's no
No,
meaning.
ma'am. No.
So sequence number is given to uniquely identify the cards, right? Because two students might belong from the same city, have the exact same name, same marks, everything. But the sequence number is what it will differentiate the two students. So there is no sense performing addition, subtraction, arithmetic operations on this, even though you can, because it is integer type data. But it doesn't give you any meaningful result, right? So those operations will not be performed here. But Boolean operations can be performed, right? So if I want to find the card of a student whose sequence number is 6, so I'll pick a card, I will check, the condition will be sequence number equal to 6. If yes, then continue. If no, then pick the next card. Okay. So Boolean operation can be performed. Again, from mark, like I said, the range is from 0 to 100, even though it is integer type. So integer type variable can have range from minus infinity to plus infinity. But this marks becomes a sub data type of that integer type, where the range is smaller. So mark can range only from 0 to 100. And here I can have integer operations like addition, subtraction. Like if you want to find average of max marks in the entire class. So you have to add all the marks and then divide it by the number of students, right? So these operations are performed in marks. That is okay. So this is
Ma'am,
basic. Yeah.
but we should also be able to perform Boolean operations on marks, right? For example,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
want to
definitely
compare
you
two
can.
marks.
Yes,
Yes, okay.
you can. Okay, next
Hello,
is
ma'am.
yeah.
I have doubted that comparing the sequence number.
Mhm.
If I have to compare the sequence number, let's say someone is on the sixth card, and I have to
Hmm.
compare it with the card number 28. So can I
Hmm.
compare it, or if I have to
Look,
find the difference between the two cards, so how can I do it?
what type of operation this will happen is like, say if I have this deck of cards, right, and I want to find every card. Let's just an example problem that let's say I want to count the number of cards which have sequence number greater than 10. Okay. So
Yeah.
every card you pick, your filtering condition will be what? Sequence number equal to 10 or not, or greater than equal to 10 or not. Okay.
Okay.
If I want it greater than 10, then just greater than 10. If you want it greater than equal to 10, then you put that symbol. So this is the filtering. The comparison is happening here. Or if you want to find the particular marks of a student whose sequence number is, sequence number of card is 10. So you will only check for that student. So you'll pick one card after one card till you find that sequence number which matches, for which the condition is true. Then you will find that student's mathematics marks like this. Okay, two sequence
Okay,
numbers
ma'am.
also, like two cards you can pick at random and check if the sequence numbers match, which will never be the case because all cards have separate sequence numbers. Yeah,
Ma'am, can you please stop the chat option?
chat option.
You can mute them, mute the notifications.
Yeah, I think everyone can individually do that, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have done that
Yes,
already.
ma'am. I have done already.
Okay, one thing I have a request to everyone. So last time also I faced this issue a lot. Even though in this class till now it's been really good. But please do not write on the screen when I'm sharing, or do not do any of the things that you don't do in a class decorum, right? So just cooperate with me. And these things, like, don't write unnecessary chat, don't spam others. Just focus on the class, okay?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, when we will
I,
solve the activity questions?
ma'am,
Activity questions, okay.
ma'am, I have one question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, there is a group that I am sharing the link there. All the maximum student are qualified and joined there for their doubt and other only course related issue. That's why I
Okay.
shared group there, ma'am.
So
No,
you have, if you're not qualified, you can be added to the Google forum. Okay, that is a Google
on
forum group
Google Forums,
for.
right? Late reply come there, but they are group only course related activity and follow one instant. They
Okay, okay.
by comments. That's why I said.
Okay, but see, what I'm saying is that if you want to write on the chat, fine. If you have anything important, then only share. Do not spam,
Yeah,
because last time
ma'am,
students did
because
that.
only course related statistics and mathematics
Yeah.
books of this I have shared there in Guru.
Okay.
No other
So
chats.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's move on with this. Yeah, activity questions. Were they solved, or do you want me to solve the week one activity?
So, this session is not for solve with us or what? It's showing solve with the session.
Actually, the thing is that it is a solve with a session, but we usually solve the practice assignments. Okay. And that was already solved, so I did not take that up. So I was asked to do a summarization, and if you have any doubts. So if you have any activity question doubts, we can definitely take that up. Okay. Just
So solve
let
with
me
the session is not
week two
like
also.
other math session, is it?
No. So CT will have
It
three
is
sessions. It will be like this. So first session, we will do the
okay.
theory. Okay. First session, we'll just do the theory for each week, which will be your Friday session. That will be just for theory. Next session, Saturday session, we'll do the practice assignment. And then this session is for your doubts, whatever doubts you have from that week. And if you want any activity questions to be solved, if you have the time, definitely we can solve it. Okay.
Ma'am, you
Okay.
will take this session only on Monday.
See, it's not like that. Actually, the sessions are divided among instructors based on availability. Okay, so anyone can take any session, but all of us will have take at least one session a week. So it can be on any day. But yeah, there will be three sessions: Monday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay,
But
ma'am.
the
Okay.
layout is like this. On Friday, we will do the first introduction of a week. Okay.
And maybe proceed forward in
Yeah. Let's
questions.
proceed. So
Ma'am,
this
where
part is.
Ma'am, may I ask my question right now because I have to attend the statistics class too.
Yeah, let's go on. Ask.
Ma'am, I have a question regarding the practice assignment one only. Where it is given that what the number will take if a number is given if 10 is greater than 15. Sorry, 10 is greater than A and less than 15.
Okay, let me find which one. Which question is it from practice
No, I'm just
assignment?
giving you an example. I am not actually having the access to the question. I'm just giving you example, the doubt that I have.
Yeah, what is the question? Come again.
Just example, 10 is less than A.
Okay, 10 is less than A. And
10 is less than A and A is greater than 5.
yeah, so these are two different conditions, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
These are two different conditions. I'm asking if A is given 5, in which categories I will take the 5?
then if A is 5, then both of these conditions will fail, because 5 is not greater than 10 and 5 is not greater than 5 itself also. So both are failing. None of these will satisfy.
Ma'am, if it is given 10 is greater than A and A is greater than equals to 5, then this will take 5, right?
A is greater than equals to 5, then it will take 5. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Where I can find this PDF of this this
It is
lecture?
given in the supplementary contents, or even at the end of each week, you'll see there are summary slides.
Ma'am,
Okay.
this slide isn't given in the supplementary content. I have checked already.
So this one might be given in the week one part of the portal only. Like you click on week one, all the lectures come, right? At the end, you have the practice graded assignment. There you'll have the week one summary slides. So if it is, just check once. I think it is given. If it is not
No,
given, you let
ma'am.
me know.
No,
There,
it isn't
there is
given there.
nothing.
Okay, then I guess it hasn't been uploaded. Okay, fine. I'll ask you sir to upload it. Okay. Okay, let's see. Now let's quickly finish this first.
Ma'am,
So sub data types is done.
ma'am,
Ma'am,
one question is there.
Is
ma'am,
it
I have a
related
question.
to this or any operational issues?
Ma'am, this course, I think IIT Madras official YouTube channel, a qualifier course is there of 4 weeks. I have already completed a 4 week course. Is this course is same as that there uploaded there?
I'm not
Last 2 week I
entirely
already
sure
see
about
the
this.
same
Okay.
pre-recorded video is come
See,
there.
first thing I'll say is that if you have any operational doubts like this, okay, you just save it for the end of the session. I will take it up. Okay. During the session, when I'm teaching, let's just focus on the academic part of it. All these operational doubts we'll take up at the end. Okay. So let's now continue this. So transformation and sub data types. Now we will have transformation. So transformation is what? See, date 15 Jan. It is what? Alphanumeric. So it is what type of a data type? String, right? Because it has more than one character and it is alphanumeric. So question is, what will be the date after 3 days? So if we assume 1st Jan and we assign it the value 0, like 0 represents 1st Jan, 1 represents 2nd Jan, 2 represents 3rd Jan. So if 0 represents 1 Jan, then by that logic, 31st Jan is represented by 30, right?
Yes, ma'am.
1 less. So just by this logic, you can like expand it to find out that 31st December becomes what? The 364th day for a non-leap year. If it is a leap year, then 31st December will be what? The 365th day, right?
Yes,
Because in
ma'am.
that case, February has one extra day. So that there it is balanced.
Ma'am, basically n-1
Yeah,
operation.
right, n-1. Because 1 is assigned 0. So we are starting with 1 less. So 15th Jan, if I transform, it becomes 14 in this manner, right? 15th Jan is represented by 14. So if I add 3 to 14, that will give me 17. So 3 days later, the date is what? 18 Jan, but the representation is what? 17. So you will add 3 to this. Okay. Now, for similarly, we can mark what we can do. See, if physics marks is 80.5 and math marks is 90.5, we want to add the above
Ma'am,
two subject
sorry
marks.
for interruption. I have a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, ask what is the doubt? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I guess she lost connection or something. So physics marks is 80.5, math marks is 90.5, right? We want to add the above two subject marks. So what is one way to add? That we can multiply both by 100 and then add, right? To get them into integer values. So this is what kind of a value? Anyone?
This
This
is
is
a
float.
fractional value.
It's a float.
This is float. Very good. This is float. Whenever we
Float.
have decimal points,
Hmm.
that means float value. So to like change this into integer, what we can do? Just multiply by 100, right? So I get 80509050. Then we perform the integer operation. So we do the addition, 8050 plus 9050. This is the one we get. So after that, we needed to bring it back in its original form using print. Okay.
Can we run the application for
Your voice is cutting off. Please come again.
Am
I
I
cannot
audible?
hear. I cannot properly hear you.
And can we add this in float?
Repeat
By
this.
Float.
we are changing it or transforming it in integers.
Just give me a second. I think I have some internet issues. I'm not able to like hear you properly. Just a second.
Okay, ma'am. Just like here asking ki, rather than just adding this to numbers like physics, maths, like physics marks and um, that math marks, why we are converting it to integer and then adding and then converting back into that float.
See,
So
float,
why we
okay, you
are
are asking that why we are
doing
doing this,
this?
right? So in float addition, what we do is usually floating point numbers are extracted by like exponents and fractions. You have to extract that and then do the arithmetic operation. Okay, it is actually floating point addition is a very complex operation in itself, if you look at the hardware part of it. So this is an easier way to show how the operation actually works. Okay. One more
Okay.
thing, like here we have this part is called what? Transformation, right? Means data type, we are transforming it to something else. Like this date. This date I represented by using some 0, 1, 2 values. Okay. This is just an example. Here also, we have two float values. We are transforming them into an integer first. Okay. But when we print it, then we want to get it back to the original form by using the print statement. Okay.
There
So
is a
this
question.
part can happen how? Yeah. Go on.
So in that transform and print.
Mm.
So what is the question over there? So 3 days after, what is the day, right?
No. This one is a separate one. Okay. This 18 Jan question ended here. Yeah. It was asking that if this is the way we are representing 15 Jan as 14, then after 3 days, what will be the date? So instead of adding 3 to 15, you just add it to the representation of the numbers. Like 1st Jan is 0. So if you want 3 days data, so 0 plus 3. Okay.
But it is transform. I don't understand. 15 Jan and it's
Transform means
converting into
what? See,
14.
yeah, transform means what? Transform means we are not taking that exact data type which is given to us. Instead, we are transforming it to some other sub data type. Like this 0, 1, 2, 3 values. These are some other sub data type we are saying. We are representing this date using this data type. So this is transformation. But when we print the actual result, like my question is, what will be the date after 3 days? So this date should come in the original form, like this 15 Jan, this date data type form I want, right? But
Okay.
in between that calculation, I had made a transformation. But when I do the actual print statement, when I actually get the output of this program, we want the original data type. So that's why here also you see, when we added the 2 marks, we first converted them into integer type numbers by multiplying with 100. But when we print, we want it to be the original float type of value. So after printing, it should give me 171.00. So there is a thing called typecasting. Okay. I don't
So
know if
we
you
need
are.
to write the program for this also.
No. You don't have to write any program. Okay. These things are just for your information that this is possible. This can be done. Okay.
Ma'am,
It's
I have a question.
convenience
Um,
for us,
Print-
right? This convenience is for us that we are not adding 80.5 plus 90.5, not for computer, right?
No. See,
For
inside the
computer,
computer, this whole thing happens in a much more complex way. Okay, that we cannot even explain here. But this is just a basic way of showing that an easy way of converting float values and making the addition is by converting them to integer values. Okay, but when we
not
write the actual result, in that time you want that result to be in float. Because when we add two float integers, when we add two float variables, the result is float.
but not
Okay.
Ma'am,
every
I have
time
a
we
quick
are
question
doing such
about the
things,
print
right?
statement. The print function prints
No, it
exactly
doesn't do
what
this.
you are specifying in the
Ex
parameter, right?
Exactly. It doesn't do this with what is written over here, that print 17100
Yeah, it
will give
doesn't
you
do that. So
171.00.
how are we representing print 17100 as
Yeah, so
171 dots?
this one is actually given in the lecture. Okay. So
Okay.
what I can explain here in one way is that think of this print as a function. Okay. Let's say this print is a function which takes any value x and represent it by dividing it by 100. That will make
Okay.
sense here.
So we are
So in
just
that case,
representing this as for the
yeah,
as part of the
this is
okay
just a representation.
representation.
Print statement
I
doesn't
got it.
actually work like this.
Okay, got
Yes.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was confused
Yeah.
about that.
In Python, if you write like print 17100, it will just print that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have
Okay.
a doubt that what would be the solution if it is a leap year?
What will be the solution if it is a leap year? So for
Yeah.
the same question, if in the same question, if you ask that after 15 Jan, after 3 days, what will be the date? It will be 18 Jan only.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. Like
Okay.
leap year concept, I just said that if there was one more day in this year, then 31st December would have been your 365th day of the year. So in this case, what do we usually know? That in a year, how many days we have? In a normal year, how many days we have?
365.
365 days.
In a leap
365.
year, we have one extra day,
366.
right?
366.
366. So in this case, see, since the first day is represented by 0, so in this representation, a normal year has 364 days. Okay, in this right hand side representation, this one I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay, but in this case, if a normal year has 364 days, then that means a leap year will have 365 days. That's what I was saying.
Yes.
If I want to write any program or any operations on this, so what is the addition after 3 days or before 3 days? What is the day or something? So should I have to initialize till Jan 1 to
Listen, this
31st
type of
December?
problem actually, it is,
No, if
I would
in
say,
case, if I want to write a pseudocode or programming,
yeah, but what is your problem statement?
so any arithmetic, any kind of operations I have to
So
I
if
have to
this
do
is the
means I have to
problem only,
initialize. This is a initialize, right? It's an initialization of first
yeah,
Jan to 0.
first you have to initialize that first Jan represents 0. Then as you increment, that right hand side number also increments by 1.
So till
Okay.
31st December I have to initialize.
That depends on your problem. So if
Okay.
you want to implement this one, then yeah, it is better to do all the dates. Like you have to initialize all the dates. You can do that very easily using a loop. Okay. You don't have to do like separately for every date. You can just
Okay.
initialize
ma'am.
it in a loop. So these things are actually, I would say that there is something called typecasting, if you know that. I don't know. So typecasting means that you can convert a variable from one data type to another data type. Okay, this is kind of like that. So if you want, you can just Google up what is typecasting. That will make this even more clearer what this transformation thing is. So sometimes what we do
Okay.
is when we have some float data, okay, some variables containing float data. So we, before performing any operations, we typecast them into integer. Okay, we change their data type to integer, but when we write the result, we again typecast them into float. That is, we bring them back to the original data type. These things happen. If you want, you can just write it on Geeks for Geeks. It is a very nice explanation. Okay, so this
Which
is
week?
one. No, there is a website called Geeks for Geeks, GFG. So there, if you write typecasting, there is a very good example. So you'll get a good idea.
मैम की बोलें GFG?
GFG, yes. Okay. Anyways, typecasting, just a Google search, you'll get all the like required information. But it is not very important to this course, I would say. Not very important. This is just a small example. I mean, see, in week 1, we are just covering all the foundations of coding. Okay, like what all can be done with some data. I'm not saying all these things we will go into details of. Only particular things we will go into details of. But if you want to know, you can find out, sure. Now, last thing is lists and records. Okay. Like I said,
Okay.
here the list that we are talking about is in like a very general discussion we are doing. But in week 5, lists will be the entire topic that we will discuss. What are the operations you can perform on lists? There are separate list operations that we can perform only on list and no other data. Okay. So all these things we will learn. On list, there will be a lot of different types of problems, codes that you have to solve. Okay. So what is a list? It is a sequence of data elements. They can be of same data type, they can be of different data type. So this can be one list, that is subject marks obtained by Clarence. So Clarence, whatever marks she got in physics, chemistry, math, I am representing that in the form of a list. So empty list is what? Just closed square brackets. Now anything can be inside this list, comma separated values. All the elements are comma separated. This is how the list is denoted. Okay, any list is denoted by this. Now a list can have any type of value, any different type. Like, see, this one has so many different types of values: integer, string, character, right? What is a record? It stores data with multiple fields, each of which has a name and a value. So this representation is actually, even though we call it record here, we will be calling this a dictionary when we go into the more advanced weeks. Okay, week 6, week 7, there we will learn the concept of dictionary. So what happens in a record is that, see, Just pick a normal English dictionary. What does it have? A word and its meaning given, right? So are there any two same words that have the exact same meaning, exact same word? No, right? Every entry in a dictionary is unique, correct?
So, ma'am,
Even if
Synonym is there.
dictionary is
synonym
similar
is
to
there,
record.
but yeah, dictionary is similar to record. Okay, synonyms are there, but you tell me, if I have this, say any synonym word like fair. Okay, even though this is not a proper synonym, like fair and fair. These are two different words, right? But the sound same. Okay, if anyone can give me just an example of any synonym, that will be good. Basically, let's say I have two words, X and X, X1 and X2 in a dictionary. Okay, so they might have the same meaning, but they're not the same word, right? So
Sure.
every
Not the
entry in the
same word.
dictionary, exactly. So every entry in the dictionary is unique by itself, correct? So
Correct.
that is the idea here. That see, a record will store data with multiple fields. So everything will have a key value pair. Okay, you can think of it as a key value pair or a name value pair. Like sequence number is the key, 9 is the value. Name is the key, Clarence is the value. DOB is the key, 6jack is the value. So it is always a key value pair like this. And remember, all the keys will be always unique. Value can be same, right? All the keys will be unique. Like someone might have scored 73 in chemistry and their sequence number might also be 73. That is okay. But the keys should be unique. The sequence number should not be repeated. Or this total should not be repeated. Town city should not be repeated. This is basic idea of what a dictionary is. Okay. Even though we are not learning about dictionary right now. But yeah, there is a correlation between records and dictionary. So both work the same way pretty much. So this is a card of the scores data set. So if I want to basically show a record, okay, if I give you a card from any data set and I say, give me the record representation of this, that means what? You will take all the fields and all the values and write them in this format, a key value pair. Like, okay, this card has what fields? Name, gender, date of birth, town, city, math, physics, chemistry. These are the fields, sequence number. And you just write the value corresponding to that, right? So every card will have a unique record of it.
So,
So
ma'am,
that
I have a quick question. If we had another data set just like that, so
Mhm.
we can have a sequence number as maybe 8 and then name as maybe something else and date of birth
Mhm.
can still be 6 December, right? And
Yes.
town and city can still be Bengaluru. So there
Yeah,
can
yeah,
be,
sure.
you can actually repeat those values in a data
See,
set, right?
values can repeat, no problem.
Yeah.
But a field will never repeat, right? A card will have only one name or
So
only one
here,
sequence number. Yeah.
record we can say like it is a tabular column. Whichever the
Hmm.
column takes on the top as
Yeah, a
name,
record,
whatever.
whenever we ask you to write a record from a certain card of a data set, you have to see what all fields are present in that card. Those will become the
Correct.
keys of your record. And the corresponding values will become the values there.
The
Okay.
whatever the row it presents, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
substeps or whatever. What is
correct.
that called? Its
Like
values.
there is a library data set there, right? So there a card has
Yes.
the book title, the author name. These are your fields, and the actual name of the author is the value, or actual title of the book is the value. Okay.
So, ma'am, is the
And
entire
what
card a
about the
record?
list then?
List is a
List
different thing.
actually,
List means
we know that we can say that doesn't have any particular key.
List has no such thing that there cannot be duplicates or there has to be a key value pair. List is very flexible. List can have anything, any data type,
What
anything.
can
So
you
it
just give
cannot
me
represent.
example of
Example of.
list? Actually, it doesn't have any key or what? Only
No,
having
see,
value.
list, you don't have to think of it like, okay, see, whenever we look at a record, okay, if I give you this card and I say that represent this in the form of a record, you can easily do it by this. But if I ask you to represent this in the form of a list doesn't have any key value pair, so you will just have a bunch of random values like this. See, sequence number 9, name, Clarence, but it is not specified what these things are. I don't know what Clarence is. Is it the name of the town city? Is it the name of the student? I don't know. This
So
is the
can we
thing.
say it is without headings?
Yeah. List doesn't have any key value pair. List just has elements.
Correct. Done.
Okay.
Thank you.
So elements from any data type. It can be. Should be
So
comma
is
separated, that's
list
it.
list is a subset of records.
No, don't say subset. Lists and records are different structures. Okay.
Okay,
Ma'am,
maybe
See,
it
first
comes
thing,
under the record.
list is denoted by square brackets. Record or dictionary is denoted by braces. Okay, this is main
Okay.
difference.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
can I ask my doubt?
the list values can be each of those values can be stored in a variable, right? Basically, when you put those angle brackets there. For example, it can be treated as an array of
You can treat list as an
elements.
array, yeah. If you have the
Yeah.
idea of what arrays are, you can think of list as an
Yeah.
array.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can I ask my doubt?
Yeah, go on.
I have a question that the word word in para has 4 fields that have different data types, but all of them have derived from certain basic data types. Which of the following basic type has been used? Options are integer,
Can you
boolean,
just tell
character.
me which question this is, where this is from?
Activity 10, 1.10, question number 3.
Okay. Okay, so this is done anyways. Let me go to the activity questions. One second.
Ma'am, so from here,
Just a second. Okay, just let me find the question. It is very difficult otherwise. One second.
no, I'm not talking about the question right now. You take your time and find it. Now I'm talking about the fractional values which you have discussed before.
Mm-hmm.
In a short trick in the exam hall, can we find the fractional values without converting it to the converting it to the integer from float to integer? I am
Look,
talking
you
about.
can solve the problem however you want. Okay, we are not saying you have to do it a particular way. A single solve problem can be solved in different ways. Okay, if you are getting the correct answer, it's fine. However you want to solve. One second. This is activity 1.10. You said.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Which question?
Question number 3.
Okay. Question 3. This one. The record word in para has 4 fields that have different data types, but all of them have been derived from certain basic data types. So which of the following basic data types have been used? So for this you have to watch the lecture actually, what is there in 1.10. Okay, it is this question is taken from something called the word in para. So what are the different 4 fields? Do you know? What are the fields? Or else I would have to check.
Oh, word in para.
Yes, ma'am.
Unique ID, the words, parts of speech, and letter count. That's all.
That's all. Then which do you think is the basic data type if these are the only options you have?
Basic data type in this
Are
question.
integer and string.
So this is an MSQ question first. Okay. There can be more than one.
Integer.
So I don't think you're saying string, I think character, right?
I am talking about this question that why it is integer. I am talking about it is only with character. Why integer?
What are the types? Tell me again. What are the basic ones? Fields.
It does have the number of letters in the
Number of
word,
letters,
so
right?
it should be integer, right?
The number of letters comes as an integer. See, even though string can contain numeric value, but that is always within quotation marks. So that is not an integer. An integer doesn't come within quotation marks. Okay. So that number of letters that he said, this thing is an integer value. This is not a character value. Okay. So the sub data type is coming from integer also.
No,
So
ma'am.
integer will
Basic
be
data
one of the
types are
answers.
basic data types are boolean, integer, and character. And then in this question, the word in para is a
Yeah, that's
character.
what they're asking. Okay, which of the following basic data types have been used? So if letter count is one such field present in word in para, so that letter count field will have what type of values? Integer type of values,
Yes, ma'am.
Integer
right?
type of values.
There is a range.
Huh.
Okay, it cannot cross a certain range. Maybe a word can have at most how many characters or letters? Let's say max to max, say 30 letters it can have, or it can have more than that, but definitely not infinite, right? So it is a subset of that basic integer data set only, but it is a data subtype because it is called this letter count thing. This we are considering as a subtype, but it is coming from integer, no, originally. So integer will be one of the basic data types used.
And ma'am, each card has a unit ID that we can call sequence number. So that should be the character, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Every card has a one number. a number.
Every card has one number, right?
Oh,
So
yes.
these are also numbers. These can also be integer. What is a character? Like male
Alphanumeric.
or female. Okay. I can just taking a small example, like in every scores dataset card, we have seen that there is male or female mentioned, right? By M or F. One character values. So these are character type data. String is what? String is when it is alphanumeric string, or it can even have blank spaces. That is also comes under string. As long as it is more than one this thing, more than one character, then it has to be a string. A character type of variable cannot have more than one character in it. Only
Okay.
one.
So, ma'am,
Actually, whenever we go to listen to this thing, this is a bit
yes,
important.
ma'am.
Whenever you go learning a programming language, so there will be the basic difference between string and character type of variables is that you have to specify the exact size. Okay. Since here we are only writing pseudocode, so we are not thinking about size of the size of the variable. But usually you have to mention the size. That is a character type of variable. If I have, what is the size? It is how many characters can that take, or how if I have a string, I have to specify the size. Okay, but these things are not here. So here we are going to treat this gender M and F as character type because these are single character values. But if I have, let's say, subject name, or let's say there was a student ID, let's say 001A. This is a student ID, alphanumeric value. Then these come under string data type. This question, what it is asking is that what are the basic data types from which we have extracted the data that we have, like letter count. It's actually extracted from integer type only. Even sequence number is actually extracted from integer only. Okay.
So, ma'am, should there be a character data type because it's the answer, integer and the character.
Yeah. What are the fields?
Uh,
I mean,
uh,
it have noun, pronoun, and
the
verb.
part of speech, letter
Part of
count, the unit ID, and the word.
Part of speech, letter count,
Unit
unit ID,
ID
maybe this is the
and the
character,
word.
ma'am.
and the
Speech.
word. Okay, yeah. Then integer character both, because you have that thing also, no? Word
Part of
itself that is not
Yes.
from integer, right? For that you need
Shouldn't it be
character.
a string?
Actually, see, this is why I talked about the size. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So in this case, alphanumeric values are always string. But if you have a character type variable, okay, just a second. I'm getting a call.
I mean, para, we can say it's all are the strings. There is no character, right? Because it doesn't contain single values, or we can't call them that they are in single quotation. They always be in a double quotation. That's why we can say it's
Hello? Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
yes, you are.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
So
in word data type, there are row
hmm,
number, word,
hmm,
parts of speech, and letter count. 4 types of variables are
hmm,
there.
hmm. So this thing is coming, see, this letter count is coming from integer. Okay. Part of speech. So there can be noun, verb, anything it can be.
Yes, ma'am.
So these things, since string is not in your option, okay, character is there.
Yes, ma'am.
So these things can be represented as a subtype of character if since I am taking more than one character. Okay, but character thing, okay. Character can have what type of data? We just saw. Can character have numerical type of data? Can a
Yes.
numeric data be a character? Yes. Okay. Even your capital A to capital Z, small a to small z, these are all characters. So that thing you can write that it comes under character if you don't have that string option. So
Yes, ma'am.
character is a primitive data type. Okay. See, one thing I'll tell you that will clear this up. 1 second. So strings are basically what? Strings are sequences of character only, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's how you can think that initially what? All of these essentially are characters. When we take them together, it forms a string. So the basic data type is what? Character. Since string is not given to you. Now say if you had some field there which has some alphanumeric value, then of course you can't call it from if you have that string in your option, then you will choose string only, but it is
Yes, ma'am.
not in the option. And string we know is an accumulation of characters only. So you can say that the basic data type is character. But Boolean we can't say because we see none of these are true or false values.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Ma'am, can you go to the practice assignment one? Question number 1 and question number 6 is much difficult to identify.
this one, right?
Question number 1 to 3 and question number 6.
Okay, see. Let's quickly do this. So question number 1 is saying what will be the values of A, B, and C after execution of the following procedure from course dataset. Course dataset we all are familiar with. Now it is saying step 1, arrange all the cards in single pile, pile 1. So let's say course dataset has 30 cards. Okay. I think it has 30 cards only. Just check the dataset once. So all
Yes, ma'am.
30 cards are currently in pile 1. Okay. Now we are maintaining 3 variables A, B, and C, and all of them are assigned the value 0 initially. That means I have initialized them to 0. Now, if pile 1 is empty, then we stop the iteration. That means if first you have to check this condition, that is pile 1 empty or does pile 1 have any card? If it doesn't have any card, then there is no point of doing the next steps, right? Then we will stop it there only. But if it is not empty, then we'll go to step 4 and read the top card from pile 1. That is, we'll pick the first card from that pile. Now we will check that card. We will read the card and see if the date of birth on that card, whatever is the date of birth of the student, if he is born before 1st of May, okay, that is date of birth is less than 1st May, then I will increment A. If date of birth is greater than 30th April, then see, there are two filters in step 6. Date of birth is greater than 30th April and less than 1st September. So it falls within this range between 1st May to 31st August. If date of birth is in this range, then you will increment B. And last step is what? If date of birth is greater than 31st August, then increment C. So at any given point, you tell me, if I pick a card at any given point, only one of these three conditions will be satisfied. Steps, either it is step 5 or it is step 6 or it is step 7. All three or any two cannot be satisfied together, right? Either a person is born before 1st May, or he is born between April and September, or he is born after 31st August. Correct? This thing is clear to you that only one of these conditions can be satisfied at a time.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Between 5, 6, and 7, we can satisfy one of these conditions at a time.
Yes. See, if I pick a card of a student, okay, let's say that person is born in 25th May. Then which, if I go to step 5, date of birth is less than 1st May. But my date of birth is 25th May. Is that less than 1st May?
No.
Is 25th May less than 1st May? No. Right?
No, greater than first.
So I won't increment A. I will go to the next step. If date of birth is greater than 30th April, right? 25th May is greater than 30th April, and date of birth is less than 1st September. So 25th May is also less than 1st September. So both filters applied are satisfied. So I will increment B. Now I have to check step 7 also. That is 25th May greater than 31st August? No, 31st August is greater. So I won't increment C. So for any student, only one of these three steps will be satisfying. Okay, either step 5 or step 6 or step 7. That's how it is arranged. Now, once you are done, then after you have incremented either A or B or C, you will move the card to another pile called pile 2, and you will again iterate from step 3. That is, pick up the next card in the pile. Okay, and do the same thing. So tell me, what is A representing? At the end of execution, at the end of reading all 30 cards in my dataset, what is A representing?
A represents the number of students who have date of birth less than 1 May.
Correct.
Who were born
January
before
to April.
Similarly for your B and C. So B represents what? Number of students who are born after 30th April and before 1st September. Right?
Yes,
For
ma'am.
them, the count is in B. For C, it is all the people who are born after 31st August. So at the end of execution, what will be the value of A? What will be the value of B? What is C? So to find the answer to this question, you have to go to that data set and check out exactly how many cards are there where the date of birth is less than 1st May. Okay. So this type of question will not be given in your quizzes or end terms. Why? Because you have to go through the whole data set to find out. and count actually. Okay, so you won't have that much time. So this type of question will not come in quizzes, but yeah, in graded assignments, practice assignments, since you have time at home to go through the data set and solve this type of questions, it's nothing. You just have to go to the data set and count how many people are born before 1st May. That many people will be the value of A, right? So this one everyone can solve. This
Okay.
first three. Clear,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next, which question did you say? 5?
It was 6th question.
6. Okay, 6 to 7, this one. So this is saying what following pseudocode is executed on scores dataset. Step 1, again you arrange all the cards in pile 1. Step 2, we are taking two variables A and B, and both we are setting to the value 1000, initializing them to 1000. Okay, so A and B initially have the value 1000 stored in them. If pile 1 is empty, then stop the iteration. If it is not empty, then move on to step 4. Please read the first card. Now the first student's card that I pick up, if his mathematics marks is less than A. So first tell me, for any subject, it is a subtype. The marks is a subtype of integer. What is the range of mark?
0 to
Uh,
100.
0 to 100.
0 to 100, right? No one can score less than 0 or more than 100.
Yeah.
So our A and B have what value stored in them? 1000. So let's say the first card that I'm picking up from pile 1 is of some student who has scored 80 in mathematics. Okay, just for example. Now, step 5 is checking whether that 80 is less than A. So anything will be less than A, right? Even if a student has scored 100, that is the max, that is also less than 1000. So first iteration, this condition is bound to be satisfied, this less than A condition,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
For any student, it has to satisfy. So whatever that is, that marks 80 is now stored in A. So A's value is now what? After the first
18.
card is picked, 80. Physics marks is less than B, then stores physics marks in B. Let's say that person has scored 90 in physics. So again, 90 is less than 1000. Anything is less than 1000. So that value is now stored in B. Okay. Now let's say after I move this card to pile 2 and I repeat from step 3. So I pick the next card in pile 1. Now this student has, let's say, scored 70 in math. Okay. So what is A right now? 80. Currently
Yes,
the
ma'am.
A is 80. Now I'm again comparing. Is 70 less than 80? Yes. So store that marks in A now. So A becomes 70 now. But if this same person had scored 85, then this condition will be false because 85 is not less than 80. So A will remain 80. So what is happening here? Tell me. That means at the end of execution, A will store what? Minimum mathematics marks in the whole
Yes, ma'am.
class. Is this clear? How it is getting minimum? Any doubt anyone can ask?
No, ma'am, not regarding this.
Okay. Similarly for
Ma'am,
physics mark, yeah.
what if A is equal to what if there is a condition A is equal to mathematics marks? So in this step, there's only mention if mathematics marks is less than A, and the sixth condition it's physics marks is less than B. So what if in a case we found that
If it is
A
equal,
is
right?
equal
You're
to
saying that A has
mathematics marks?
80 stored in it, and the next person whose maths marks I'm checking is also 80. Then what
Yeah.
will happen? Right? Then, okay. See, this question every student asks. In every term, I get this question. What will happen if the equality condition happens?
It won't
Simple.
matter, right?
What are exactly? It won't matter. What are you checking? You are checking whether it is less or not. As long as it is not less, it is wrong. So you won't change it. Okay. Whether it is equal, whether it is greater, I don't care. If it was less than equal to, then it would matter. But yeah, then also A's value remains same only.
Yes, ma'am. Even then, the
Okay.
minimum marks would be same.
Yeah, minimum marks would be same because whenever you get equal values, then so there is nothing to change as long as you're not getting a lesser value. But if I change this question and I want to find maximum, then what will I change? Anyone can tell me? If I want to find, say, if I want A to store the maximum mathematics marks in this
Then we
question, what
have to
do I have to
initialize the
change?
variables A and B to 0 at the start, and then we have to take we have to make the condition that marks mathematics marks should be greater than A, and then store mathematics marks in A.
Very good.
Yes.
Yes. So you have to start with A and B initialize to 0, or even you can initialize them to a negative number. Okay, you can initialize them to
Yes,
even
ma'am.
less than 0. Then also it will work, because whatever marks you check is definitely going to be greater than 0
Yes, ma'am.
or 0 itself, right? So I would say it's better to take -1, because 0 is also a possibility, right? It is better to take -1. You can take 0, that will still work. So in this case, at the end of execution, A will store least mathematics marks, B will store minimum physics marks. So just
Ma-
go through the data set and find out what is the minimum maths marks, what is the minimum physics marks.
Ma'am, these kind of questions are much complicated, no?
These are not complicated at all. See, this is just the beginning. This is just
Hmm.
your basic pseudocode. Okay.
Hmm.
But here the problem is that you have to go through the data set to find out. That is the thing. You have to go through each of the rows and see which is the least one. But
But
this type of question,
this kind of question are also in graded assignment. But you are
yeah,
talking
yeah.
that
In
talking
graded
that
assignment also you will get. But in
uh,
quizzes, when you have
huh,
limited time, then we won't give you such a question where you have to go through the entire data set to find out.
because it will take too much time.
No, that type of question will not be there. This is just for your understanding.
Ma'am, I have another doubt. It's regarding the lists and records.
Yeah.
Can we say, for example, take the train data set? Can we say it like this, that the data set is a list of trains and each card is a record of the specific train?
See, these things are actually, this is what you're talking about is list within a dictionary. So where the value of the key is in the form of a list. So that is possible.
Yes.
Okay. This
Yes.
type of structure exists.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. You can represent it like that, no problem.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
So in
question
a
number
record, the value can be anything. Okay. It can be in the form of a list. It can be anything. It can be a dictionary itself.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
ম্যাম কোশ্চেন নাম্বার 8 টাও একই তো সেম তো নাকি আগেরটার মতো
What is Monday? A0 increment. It's just all different conditions, but basically same type of questions. Okay. So I think for this also you have to go through that paragraph data set, or yeah, words data set.
now
Actually, in week 1 and week 2, you'll have this type of questions where you might have to refer the data sets to find out, because we are just starting out.
this is taking too much time from us.
It won't be there in your
Explain this one.
quizzes.
Explain this one, ma'am.
This flowchart.
Question number 11.
Flowchart one, right? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just take a screenshot of this and so I can write on it. 1 second. Okay, can you see my screen? Like, can you see the Word document or okay, wait, I think
The practice assignment.
okay, 1 second. Now? Now it's visible, right?
Now it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the question saying? Because see, the A, B, C are 3 distinct integers that I've given as input. What will X represent at the end of flowchart? Okay. So I just need to find what is the meaning of this flowchart. What is it representing at the end? What is X representing at the end? So let's do this flowchart. Yeah. So this is what terminal, right? Start box. This is stop box. These are terminals, so oval boxes. This is what type of a box?
Decision box.
Decision box. These are what process or activity boxes.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? These are flow lines. So first I start. Okay. I have 3 integers A, B, and C. Let's say, just I'm taking an example. A is 5, B is 6, C is 7. Okay. In this type of questions, it is better to take an example. So
Yes,
you'll
ma'am.
find out faster. So let's say this is my example. So first question is A greater than B? It's 5 greater than 6? No. So I will go to this flow, no side. Next, I'm checking what is C greater than B? That is 7 greater than 6? Yes. So I'll go to yes side. X is storing what? 6,
Yeah.
right? Now, next is, let's take one more example. What happens if, so in our question, it is clearly mentioned, you'll see that A, B, and C are what? Distinct integers. So none of them will have the same value, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's say this one. Take one more example. Let's say A, B, and C is 10. This is 9. This is 8. Okay. So again, start from the beginning. Is A greater than B? Yes. So I'll go to this side. Okay. Next, it is checking is C greater than A? Is 8
No.
greater than 10? No. Is C greater than B? Again, no.
No.
So X is storing what? 9. So in both the examples, what did we see? What is X storing at the end of execution? The
The
second largest number.
intermediate number, the second largest number.
Second largest. So the fourth one is your answer.
Ma'am, we have to take the consecutive 3 numbers.
No,
No,
no.
you can take any number. Any number you can take. It has to be just distinct. Don't repeat numbers. Okay. Anything you can take. See, just this
Ma'am,
one.
distinct means, can you explain it in Bengali?
Distinct means not same. Like you can't take 555
Oh,
or 255. All of them have to be unique. Okay. Like this example, 257. If I take this. Then again, 2 is greater than 5. Yes. No. 2 is not greater than 5. So you go this way. Then you check C is greater than B. So 7 is greater than 5. Yes. So B is what? 5. So X is containing B. Here it ends. So it is the second largest number. It will always find the second largest number. Okay. This type of pseudocode, if you see, this type of flowchart, if you see, always go for example. That will solve it first. Okay.
Ma'am,
Any other question?
ma'am,
Yeah.
could you share the PDF of week 1 summary that once again, if you have sent, like in the chat, could you
You
share?
want me to share it here only? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
yes,
share.
ma'am. That would be great if you share it in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, no
If you
problem.
can share it PDF in the chat box.
One second. So see, I have posted this week 1 summary. Okay. Let me know if you can see it. Just a second. Yeah. Visible, right? For everyone?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, I'm having a doubt. Can I ask?
Yeah.
It's in graded assignment, but I don't want the answer. It's about the question. Like they have given. If you could see if you could share the screen, I could
Yeah.
show you
One second.
in graded at assignment. First question.
You are talking
Graded
about the 250
assignment.
number, right?
Yes, bro. 250.
Graded assignment first question. Okay. What is your question?
There is a data set which contains 250. Where should we store it?
Okay. So if the like card that you picked has a total of 250, that's what you're asking, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, the
If it
girl
has a
before did ask that the difference of the A and B greater than 10 and 5. Should we store the 5 or not?
see, that card which has 250 in it will not be stored in either A or B or C. That's the thing here. There is no hard and fast rule that every card has to come under A, B, C, right?
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
we say that anywhere? It is not given. This question every time students will ask.
Ma'am, few people were
You
having the doubt that if the question is right or wrong.
question is absolutely correct. The thing is that you are programmed to think this way, that every card has to come either under A or under B or under C. That is the thing we want to break. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay. We haven't
Yes, ma'am.
given any equal condition intentionally, because that card which has a 250 total will not fall under any of these categories. But that doesn't hinder the question itself, right? You can still
Yes,
find the
ma'am.
value of
It's
A,
just
B,
a
C.
simple Boolean type question
Yeah,
every day.
exactly. So see, the thing is that whatever if condition is given to you, you act according to that. You don't have to think about what are the other possibilities. Okay. Just
Yes,
focus on the
ma'am.
condition given to you. Yeah, this is a very natural doubt that what happens to that 250. It doesn't get stored anywhere. That card is not documented in either A or B or C. Okay. Question is correct. Yeah. Any other doubt?
No, ma'am. And
Yeah. From week 1, anybody, any doubt? Feel free to ask. And please just asking, since this is the first class with me, in any problems that you had in understanding, like my speed, or if you want me to teach in some different way,
No,
any
ma'am.
feedback from your side?
no, ma'am.
Everything
Ma'am,
is
it's the
okay.
best.
The
It
concept
was
is
perfect.
crystal clear right now.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, a
very good.
small request. If could you remove the like the pen marks that you have written in this class on that week 1 summary?
Yeah. Okay, you
Yeah,
want
could you
the
share that? Yeah.
annotated list?
Yes, ma'am. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, I'll share that. See,
Ma'am, this
as
was a
we,
summary class, right?
yeah, this was a summary class.
Okay.
Okay, see, as we go from these weeks to the more advanced weeks, right? Every week I will ask you for this feedback. So you just tell me whatever difficulties you are having. Okay, since CT is the most basic level course for programming. So you want your concepts to be fully cleared before you move on to Python. Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
whichever topic you're getting stuck at, let us know. Don't just sit quietly. Okay, that won't do anyone any good. Just a
Yes,
second.
ma'am.
Let me.
You explained the question number 1, 2, 3, and 6, 7, 8. These kind of questions are very challenging to us.
Yeah, because
Because
this is the first time you're encountering this type of question. Once you
Mhm.
get acquainted with this, it will be very easy.
Mm-hmm.
See,
When you were
pseudocode type of question, you just have to go line by line. Don't look at the whole thing at once. Just go one line, then one line. What is happening? Try to understand it line
I
by
just
line.
made a flowchart for every question so that it would be easy.
That is not a good practice, because flowchart will work for smaller problems, but next weeks when we go on, we'll have
Yes, ma'am.
larger problems. That flowchart won't help you. It will
No,
actually
I
become more
I
complicated.
made it only for the first question so that I could
Yeah.
understand the one that
This
was
one is okay.
storing question.
Correct. Yeah, this one you can do. Okay,
ma'am,
I'm
in
sharing
those
that.
type of question,
Hmm.
from datasheet, how much student scorecard or from our datasheet, how much words we have to pick from the
Sorry,
only from pile 1 or the entire pile. The 30 piles have been given.
all the cards. See, pile 1 contains initially all the cards in the dataset. So pile 1 is a stack of all 30 cards. And we have to go through all the cards. And as we read a card, so that we don't repeat reading that card again, we move it to a separate file called pile 2. Okay. So that every card
Okay.
is read only once. That's it. Okay, I have posted your week 1 summary without the annotations also.
Yes, ma'am. I've received
ma'am.
it.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. All
Teaching.
right. So if you have no other questions, then we will wrap up the session. Anything else you have?
And for another sessions, are
No,
we
ma'am.
going with you,
No,
ma'am,
ma'am.
or it's time? It's just matter of time.
Aryan, can you please speak louder a little? I can't hear you.
And for another sessions, are we going with you, ma'am, or it's just a matter of time? Let anyone can take that.
Can anyone just tell me what he's saying if you can hear?
Can I say in Hindi?
Yeah. Just come again, please. I'm not able to hear properly. I don't
मैं
know
जस्ट
why.
पूछ रहे मतलब कि मैम क्या जैसे कि सेशन हम लोगों को कौन पढ़ा रहा है बेसिकली पिछली बार एक सर लोग का सेशन लिए थे तो ऐसे मल्टीपल लोग सेशन ले रहे
See,
हैं
Abhi, in CT, the first 4 weeks, we are going to take, there are 3 instructors now. Okay, me, Piyush sir, and Nalini ma'am. So all 3 of us will take alternative sessions. Okay, later on, we might switch one session to a TS session. That we will figure out. That depends on your needs. Okay. If it is okay to continue like this, then this is what we will follow for the entire course. But the layout is the same. Like every week, Friday, we will start with the theory of that week. Saturday, we'll do the practice assignment. Monday, we'll take the doubts and
And
summary.
ma'am, can we
Actually,
solve
ma'am,
PYQs or extra questions in Solve with Us?
Hmm.
Actually, ma'am,
Solve with us is
basically,
whatever your doubts are. We will take all of
Okay,
that.
okay.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think we are comfortable with everyone. So it's not that. बस ये जानना था कि मैम किससे पढ़ रहे हैं. That's why I
Yeah,
asked.
sure, no problem. Yeah.
Don't mind, ma'am.
Okay. Anything
Thanks for
else?
this wonderful session, ma'am.
No problem. Good.
Can we leave,
Yeah.
ma'am?
Yeah, sure. It is done. If you don't have any other doubts, leave. Please have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good
Thank,
night.
Thank
Good
you.
night, ma'am.
thank
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
you.